Hey guys, I'm gonna build this rocket ship bookcase using only this tool. Wait, why am I so zoomed in? Zoom me out. Thank you. And what's this doing here? Using only this tool and a few others. Let's do it.
I find myself in an awkward situation. You see, I own a CNC router, and even though I machine wood on a regular basis, I cannot consider myself a machinist or a woodworker. I'm not a machinist because I don't cut metal, and I'm not a woodworker because I don't use hand planes. Well, as unfair and ridiculous as that sounds, it's the world we live in. And so, as I said, I am in that awkward situation of being nothing. But while awkward, it certainly is comfortable. So that line of reasoning that I just laid out for you guys is one that I've heard in several YouTube videos, but it's not one that I've ever really experienced in real life. I just don't see a lot of machinists and woodworkers ganging up and going around terrorizing CNC router operators. But if there are any woodworkers watching this video thinking this guy's not a woodworker, I would ask you to consider what the great woodworker and carpenter from Galilee would think about that. And if there's any machinists that are watching this thinking, this guy's not a machinist, I would say, your mama's a machinist. Anyways, I'm going to get all of these pieces of wood out of the sawdust here and take them over to the bench and then go back and clean up my table. I'm also going to remove the 10,000 screws that I put into this piece of plywood to hold it down. Once I'm done with this, I'll head back over to the bench and start putting chamfers on all of the pieces that I just cut. So I could save myself some work and put chamfers on one side of all these on the CNC, but I don't like to do that because this is when I start doing a lot of my quality inspecting, looking for voids and defects. You know, while I router all these pieces, I've got my eyes on all the edges, and that's when I find a lot of flaws during this part and also during sanding. So I could save some time by doing more of these chamfers over on the CNC router, but I think doing it this way helps me be a little bit more thorough and turn out a better product for my customers. So I guess if you disagree, you can leave a comment about it. In fact, why don't you leave 2 or 3 comments about it? You know, that'll really teach me. So now it's on to sanding. So I'm just going to start sanding and keep on sanding. Then maybe a little bit more sanding and some more sanding. But eventually I'll get done, and it's actually not that bad. I just sand the edges. This is a 3D printed fixture that has a drill bushing pressed into it. It helps me locate holes in the bottoms of the rocket-shaped panels. These holes will later receive screws that attach these panels to a Lazy Susan base. These holes just make it a lot easier for the customers to assemble, and they also keep the plywood from splitting out when the screw goes in. So at this point, I fill all the voids and defects that I found. I like to use this wood putty. It's water-based and it cleans up really easy, so I really like it. Have you ever wondered why these are called Lazy Susans? Well, I looked it up, and guess what? We don't know. But here's a better question. Why is this called the Weenus? Honestly, was it between that or the Peener? Can we please come up with a better name? Jeez Louise. Anyways, so now I can assemble it. These pieces just slot together, and then usually I would attach those 2 pieces to the Lazy Susan base with 4 screws. And then everything else just slots together. It assembles really easily, and everything's just kind of a friction fit, so it stays together. There it is. Very nice. Oh, there I am. Very nice. Okay, that's enough of that. So the last thing I want to show you guys is how I make boxes for shipping. So I could buy boxes, but my biggest cost with selling these on Etsy is shipping. And so to keep that down, I want to make a box that is just big enough. If I could find the right box to buy, I would definitely buy it. But ultimately, this doesn't take that long, and it makes the right size, and I like it. So it works really well. I actually got a hold of a guy to get a quote for a steel rule die to cut a cardboard box, a much smaller one than this. When he asked me how I was going to apply pressure, I kind of sarcastically told him, well, I'm just going to jump up and down on it. Well, he didn't like that at all and kind of told me I was kind of dumb. So I asked him, well, how about if your mama jumps up and down on it?